Alright, so today we're going to be doing a
start.
deck profile on Subterrors. It's got a Prediction Princess engine, but it's literally just Terra Tray, so I don't even consider it that. So starting off with the monsters, we got 3 Terra Tray. I'm playing as many cards or as many ways to play this card as possible because you really want to see it to open. It interrupts your opponent's field. It can change shit, face up to face down, and vice versa. And then during your end phase, you can special summon a flip monster from your grave. So that's really good with this deck. There's a lot of flip monsters with big effects. Playing 1, however you spell his name. Basically, when you flip him face up, you can turn all other monsters on the field into face down defense. I mean, it doesn't work with links, but that's okay. So. Also, they have an effect where you can just turn them face down, during your own turn. And if you control only face down monsters, you can special them from your hand face down or face up, and then you can just use their effect to flip them face down and set your field up. And then for the 10s, I'm playing 2 Stalagmo. He's a D-draw. You just flip him up, discard a Subterror monster from your hand, and then you can draw 2. They all have the same effect of being able to turn themselves face down and special summoning if you only control face down. So 2 Umastrix. Flip effect that just banishes a card or banishes a monster it targets, but it's really good removal because banishing is still strong, and you can go into rank 7s with it. Dragossuary, it basically just prevents all your Subterror monsters from being destroyed by card effects for the turn. So that's really helpful because this deck has a lot of issues with board wipes and recovering from that. So then we got 1 Styko Kraken. Its flip effect is that you can pop set cards on the field equal to the number of Subterror behemoths you control, so the flip monsters. It has good synergy with this dude because he turns everything face down, and then this targets set cards. So it's a good way to get around cards that can't be targeted, just removal because they're face down, so they don't have any way to object. I'm playing 1 Gofu because I can only play 1. Summons 2 tokens. You could do synchro plays. I don't play synchros in this deck, but it's mainly just for link summons. 3 Subterror Nemesis Warrior. You can, during either player's turn, it's a quick effect, send a Subterror monster from your deck to the grave and then tribute monsters on the field, including this card, equal to its level or higher, and then special summon it from the grave face down. So that's a good way of dodging effects. He also has the effect where if you flip a Subterror monster face up while he's in your grave, you can summon him back, and that does something called chain blocking. So you'll get, chain 1 of the Subterror monster's effect and then chain 2 of him in grave. So your opponent has to respond to this and can't respond to that. So it's a nice way to kind of make sure your Subterrors go off. Playing 1 Nemesis Archer. If you control a face down or a Subterror monster, let me see. Yeah. If you control another Subterror monster, you can attack a face down monster and then it gets shuffled back into the deck, no damage calculation. And then it floats while it's in the grave. So just to summon one from your deck face down. Maxi, because
Maxi.
Enough said. 3 Subterror Fiendus. It's a hand trap. If your opponent activates a card or effect while this card's in your hand or face up on the field, you can discard it or tribute it and then turn another card you control or monster you control on your side face down and then negate that activation. It also has an effect where if it's in your or on your field, you can turn itself or any other card face down and then special summon a Subterror monster from your graveyard or hand face down. So it helps you kind of reset your boards. And then we play 1 Kinkavio. It's a way of getting Fiendus back on the field if it's in grave. So you use its effect to turn it face down so this card doesn't get banished. Because if this card leaves the field by its own effect because it's a spirit, then this card gets banished and you won't see it ever. Because there's no way of recycling banished monsters in this deck. At least not in the build I'm playing. 3 Hidden City. It's a must. Basically, when you activate it, you can search for any Subterror card, so that really helps you get your hands consistent when you open. Also, if your opponent declares an attack, you can flip a Subterror monster face up and negate the attack. That's once per turn, which can trigger their flip effects and disrupt their board more. So it's good, but you can only search it with Terraforming because it's not a Subterror card. 3 Pre-Prep to search out Terra Tray, and it's a ritual spell. 3 Terraforming. Let's see. Where's the whatever, I'll get to it. Just to search out Hidden City. You play 3 because the field spell's a searcher, so you really want to be able to see that. 3 Scapegoat. just to go into link plays, you flip it during your opponent's end phase and then just go off during your next turn. Dark Hole, 1-for-1 to summon Fiendus from the deck, because you can just get whatever you, like if you pitch a flip monster, you can just get it back with Fiendus. Soul Charge, there's a lot of big monsters, so if you reset your board, you can probably last for a while. And I don't know why this was out of order. 3 Prediction Ritual, that's just how you summon Terra Tray. So you can pitch a flip monster and then use this effect during end phase to just get it back. And you can banish it to search Terra Tray during any turn except the one you used it. And then only traps I play are 2 Royal Decree. This deck doesn't play any traps, this doesn't really affect it, and this deck doesn't like back row, so you really want to be able to get around that with Royal Decree. And then going into extra deck, let's see, we got 5 tokens of your choosing, just because you do summon tokens a lot with Gofu and Scapegoat. Play these for the 10s, because Stalagmo's at 10. This one just burns for 2,000, this one is immune to card effects. Just beefy. This is the only 9 I play. Basically, it's just separate effects of Trishula, and you can use it by overlaying 2 Terra Tray, although you usually don't go into it. Let's see. For the 7s, I play Draco Sack, Flare Metal, and Big Eye, just because you can get them on the field relatively easily with Umastrix. And then I play 1 Castell, because you do play 4s, Princess Sprite, because you play 1s, and Slacker Magician, just as a kind of a stall card. And then for the links, I play Firewall Dragon, Decode Talker, not really necessary, Behemoth Fiendus, Mrs. Radiant, because there's a lot of Earth monsters in this deck, and then 2 Link Spider. So that's it for my extra deck. Might put a Proxy Dragon in there instead of the Decode Talker. I'm going to play in 3 lose 1 turn. Most of these cards special summon themselves face down, so they don't really get affected by lose 1 turn. You know, by the time they're activating their effects, they've already been on the field for a minute. Subterror Final Battle. Basically just another way to change the stats of your Subterror monsters or force them to be flipped face up or face down. Instead of being sent to the graveyard after being activated, it gets set instead. So that's pretty dope. 1 Quaking, probably going to bump this up a few. 3 Swords of Concealing Light. This is used to be in the main deck, but it's in the side because of Link monsters. I mean, if they can't be flipped face down, this doesn't do anything, but it helps set up your field for Stygo Kraken. Cave Clash. It gives them kind of an attack boost, and if it gets sent to the graveyard, you can add a Subterror back from your grave to your hand. It'll be better once Subterror Guru comes out, because it's searchable by that. Veletric. It's another level 9, so it helps with the rank 9 plays, but it will Snatch Steal a face-down monster for the rest of the turn, basically. 1 more Stygo Kraken in case I'm really finding it useful, 1 more Kinkabio, and 1 MST. So that is the whole deck, guys. There's definitely going to be more changes to come, but at this point, this is how I'm enjoying the deck's playstyle. So thank you for watching the video, and have a great day.